And are you going to run out of money right now?
No.
Okay.
No. We just, between you and I, we just had $400 million a month ago.
So you're raising money as fast as you're lending money right now. Welcome to another video. In this special video series, I'm doing all about how to wholesale and flip houses as a result of the new real estate market caused by the COVID-19 crisis. A lot of changes are happening, and it's important you stay up to speed so that you can adjust and adapt quickly. And this is the third of many videos addressing one of the biggest challenges facing real estate investors during and post COVID-19, and that is real estate funding for investors. Now in today's video, watch me talk to a nationwide hard money lender. You'll see a live interview where I find out firsthand the new COVID-19 funding requirement adjustments. Now, this live interview is gold. I even learned new things I didn't know, so you don't want to miss this. See it for yourself firsthand, coming up.
The Real Estate Funding Kit is out now. Learn how to get 100% funding for all your deals without dealing with the banks. Claim your free copy at myfundingkit.com.
If you're new here to this channel, I'm Jerry Norton with FlippingMastery.com, and this channel is all about ways to help you make money wholesaling and flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss new videos. This is now the 12th video I've released in this special video series, all about how to wholesale and flip real estate during and post coronavirus. And it's the third of many videos where I'll be specifically tackling how the changes in funding and access to capital for real estate deals has been and will continue to be impacted for wholesalers and flippers. Now, the game is changing and it's changing quickly, and my goal is to help you navigate through these unprecedented times so that you can come out victorious. I've created a coronavirus playlist where you can find all of these videos, and I'll put that playlist link in the description below for you. In a recent video about how to adjust your wholesaling business, I advise you to do what I'm doing, which is to call up and interview local active hard money lenders in your market and interview them about their new funding guidelines, and then to get them to agree to pre-approve your wholesale deals before taking those deals to your cash buyers. That way, not only do you bring a good deal to your cash buyer, but you also bring a solution to their biggest problem right now, and that is access to capital to fund your good deals. Now, by solving this problem, you'll be able to wholesale more deals. So in today's video, I decided to model for you and actually get on the phone with a hard money lender. Now, not only is this powerful for you to see live in action, but it also validates what I've been saying on these videos in this coronavirus series, and that is this. A lot of investment lenders have closed their doors. Access to capital is more difficult. The remaining lenders that are still lending have increased their lending requirements. And if you're a fix and flipper or a wholesaler that has fix and flip cash buyers, you better adjust and adapt and be able to find the money or you'll quickly become obsolete. Now, before we cut to a live call with a nationwide direct lender, I want to make something really clear. Everything discussed is date stamped to the day of this recording. The real estate market and lending guidelines may get better or worse. The point is to stay in front of it and be aware of the changes as time goes on and as they're happening, and to adjust real time. On this video, you'll learn the right questions to ask and exactly what you need to find out as time goes on. Now, the lender I interviewed is the ideal lender that I personally want to align with for two reasons. One, they are nationwide, which means they lend in every market. Now, since I fix and flip houses virtually anywhere in the US, this lender could fund any of my deals. Now, this is a big deal because most lenders are market specific. That also means they can fund your deals for you in your prospective market as well, wherever that may be. The second reason why I want to align with this lender is, in spite of the COVID-19 crisis, they are aggressively lending and even raising more money in their fund. Take a listen to him explain that demand for funding has skyrocketed and how they're raising more money to fund more deals. And are you going to run out of money right now?
No.
Okay.
No. We just, between you and I, we just had $400 million a month ago.
Infusion into the fund.
Yeah, extended.
So even though the
1.2 billion last year.
2 billion?
Our prediction, 1.2 billion.
1.2 billion.
Our prediction to do 2 billion this year.
In total, in your fund at your company get 2 billion.
Yeah.
So you're raising money as fast as you're lending money right now.
The company has been there for 20 years.
Yeah, they're established.
They're established.
They're established. So as of this recording, they have $1.2 billion in their fund, and they plan on raising it to $2 billion by the end of the year. That means while other hard money lenders are closing the doors, they're doubling the size of their fund, which means they're going to want to put that money to work on deals. So they have taken the same approach to the COVID-19 crisis that I have taken and many other wholesalers and flippers, which is to do even more deals and make even more money while everyone else is pulling back and sitting the sidelines. It's critical that you align with lenders that want to lend right now, not lenders who find excuses not to lend. And before you leave a comment and ask who this lender is and if I'll share their contact, I'm not going to say on this video, but I will share it with you if you do the following. Go to Instagram and follow my page and then post a screenshot of this video on your Instagram page and say, Jerry Norton is a flipping genius, and tag me and then send me an Instagram DM and I'll give you his contact info. Also, be sure to tell my lender contact that Jerry Norton referred you so he hooks you up. Fair enough? Okay, one of the questions I like to ask hard money lenders right now is when they think the real estate market is going to decline as a result of the economic impact of COVID-19. Listen to his answer.
I was talking to my investors. They don't think market is going to go down in any time soon, and we are seeing I don't think it is. And we got large amount of buyers, and I mean, he's not my account, but he does 200 properties every 2 years. So he's buying right now. And they're guys who are right now buying, not just, I mean, they send out, I have a guy who just sent out 7 offers yesterday.
Yeah.
One shot. So he's purchasing 7 offers. And he's not a big guy.
Yeah,
he's just a small timer, and he's just done a little time, and he knows his area. He's very familiar.
If you can get capital right now, you can get deals and you can kill it. I mean, there's a lag time for sure, because with the foreclosure process and now with the moratoriums and the forbearances, we're not going to see foreclosures for 2 years, maybe a year and a half, but 2 years before we're going to see it.
Right. So we know that. We are looking for guys who can fix and flip it and put it on market as quick as they can.
Mm-hmm. Now, like me, he doesn't see a decline really happening in the next 12 months or so. Now, I love to hear him talk about how he's working with investors that are full throttle on deals, and I hope that gives you confidence that now is the time to turn up the juice. I believe it's always a good time to do this business, but right now, I believe there's a window to get discounts from sellers and maybe not see much decline in value on the flip side. Now is the time to strike while the iron is hot. If you're a wholesaler, get out there and find good deals and then align yourself with active cash buyers. By the way, in my fix and flip business right now, I'm one of those active buyers aggressively doing deals, and I do fix and flip deals virtually anywhere in the US. If you'd like to be a finder for me and get paid $10,000 for every good deal you bring me that meets my criteria, then be sure to check out a free training to get all the details. Just go to my10kcheck.com to learn more. Now, throughout our conversation, it became clear to me that although this lender is aggressively lending to hedge their risk right now, their overarching position is experience matters more than anything else. He made it clear to me that the more experience you have, the better rate and terms they will offer. Take a listen.
We want people who know what they're doing. We're not into making you crazy interest rates, coming up with 20%.
Yeah, you don't want properties back.
We'll give you the decent interest rate as long as you turn it around and sell the property so you and I can make both money.
Now, they'll still lend to unexperienced flippers, but the criteria is much more strict. You'll see firsthand what that unexperienced criteria is, so keep watching. But he told me with my experience as a full-time flipper for 16 years and having flipped hundreds of houses, I would qualify for a 90% loan to cost or loan to capital. That is huge. That means if I need $75,000 to buy a house and $25,000 for repairs for a total cost of $100,000, because of my experience, he would lend me $90,000. So I would only need to come up with $10,000 as the down payment. Now, this contradicts what I just said in a previous video that the 10% down loans were a thing of the past. Not with this lender. Now again, that's only if you have experience. Now take a listen to how he clarifies that.
From your experience, right, and I can do 90% of your loan to cost.
You would do 90% loan to capital.
No, I'm categorizing you as a better
Experienced,
borrower.
yeah, experienced, yeah.
So
Yeah. I would be your prime borrower because I got cash in the bank, I got credit score, I'm like your A+ borrower.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't worry about you then, and everything will go fine.
Now, I have to admit, I was shocked to hear that he would fund 90% of cost still. That really shows that they are targeting experienced flippers. So, what constitutes being an experienced flipper? I asked him that. Take a listen. And how many deals do you consider the threshold for experienced?
Now, if he's done 5 and plus in the past year, I would consider him as a B borrower, which is a good category for me.
Okay, so five in a 12-month period is a B borrower.
I don't want to say 12 months, or you can extend that. Or sometimes I go to 3 years. Depends on the deals.
Okay. So with this lender, if you can show that you've done 5 deals in the past year or so, they will consider you experienced. Now, be sure to ask lenders in your market what it looks like if they have experience. So let's discuss some of the changes to the loan criteria that you need to be aware of. Due to such a huge increase in demand for funding and due to delays in being able to do things like appraisals because of COVID-19, it takes longer to fund and close deals. Take a listen. Demand went up.
Demand went crazy off, and I can't complain. But just doing remote and everything, and processing, it just puts it from 7 to 10 days, extends it to 28 days now. So
till what? Close?
Yeah, with me, our usual closing time is 7 to 10 days.
Now it takes 28 days because it just.
I don't promise nothing less than 15 days.
This lender went from 7 to 10 days to close pre-COVID-19 to 28 days as of this recording. That is an important adjustment for you to make when making offers to sellers. Make sure you're not promising sellers you can close too quickly. I make sure I put in my contracts with sellers a minimum of 30 days to close, and in some cases even 45 days to close, so my cash buyers have time to secure their funding. And then, if you're not already, make sure you're using my COVID-19 addendums with all of your offers to protect you from delays in closing. Now, I'll give you these addendums for free, link in the description. Next, he brought up something that I haven't really seen before, and that's credit score. Normally, hard money lenders don't look at credit score or credit history. Take a listen to this new guideline.
Yeah. Credit score matters now. It didn't matter before. It does.
So you're requiring credit?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
No,
so
I do.
And what score do you need to have?
On a lowest credit score, I will go with 650 on a non-experienced borrower.
So non-experienced, 650 score. Okay.
Someone like you comes in and says, hey, I've done dozen deals in the past. We'll consider you somewhere around 640, 620.
In the past, it was very uncommon for hard money lenders to require credit. Not with this lender. He said inexperienced flippers need to have a minimum 650 score and experienced investors need a minimum 620. This is something to ask your local lenders about, and if you're a wholesaler, it's something to discuss when presenting your deals to cash buyers, because if credit becomes the norm for hard money, your bad credit cash buyers will struggle to get funding. Now, since this lender is very experience driven, I asked him point blank if he would still lend to non-experienced flippers, which would be defined as flippers who have done less than 5 flips in the past year or so. Now, he told me he would, and then he gave me the criteria and the terms. Take a listen.
What I need to see if he hasn't done any past deals.
Okay.
I want to make sure he's got the cash 20-25% down, all the fees to cover, and plus some reserve payments, 6 to 12 months.
Okay, great. So let me make a note here. So 20-25% down.
Origination fees.
What's the points?
3 to 3.5%, 3 to 4. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put 3 to 4 points. 6 months of reserves. Is that right?
Yeah, 6 to 12 months. It depends on the
6 to 12 months. Okay, 6 to 12 months in the bank with bank statement. 3 months of bank statements, or how many bank statements?
3 months of the bank statements. And the borrower has to have 3 months of entity set up before coming to us.
Okay, I didn't know that. 3 months of entity. Very good.
Right. You don't have that, we will not be able, we're not licensed to.
So you don't lend in a personal name, you only would lend in an entity?
We will not. No.
Okay. What's the interest rate?
Somewhere between 11 to 13.
Okay, that's not bad. And then what's the loan to cost on a non-experienced?
I can probably do 80%, 75 to 80%.
75 to 80%. Okay, on loan to cost. Is there a price point, a minimum and a maximum that you don't want?
Minimum loan right now is 75K for a borrower non-experience. I can do 50K for a borrowers with experience.
Yeah. What about on the other end, the high end?
Right now, they maxed me out at 4 million.
4 million on a loan? That's loan amount, not ARV, right?
Loan amount, yes.
Okay.
Well, I wish I give you 4 mil if you tell me the ARV is 10 mil. So
yeah. It would have to be. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, the ARV is 8 million. I need a $4 million loan.
Right.
So let's review one more time this criteria so it's crystal clear. In this clip, we covered 7 things for non-experienced flippers. Down payment needs to be 20 to 25% down. Points are 3 to 4, and again, a point is equivalent to 1% of the loan. So 3 points on a $100,000 loan would be $3,000 paid up front when placing the loan. So that cost is in addition to the down payment. He said minimum loan size was $50,000 for experienced and $75,000 for non-experienced flippers, and max loan size is $4 million. Next, he mentioned something I haven't ever encountered, and it's now mandatory that you borrow money in an entity, and the entity has to be at least 3 months old. By the way, if you don't already have an entity set up for your business, I recommend doing that right away. I did a video that shows how to do it yourself for less than $130. It's easier than you think. I'll put the link to that video in the description below, and you can watch it later. Next, he mentioned 6 to 12 months of cash reserves. Now, this is referring to having enough money in the bank to cover the loan payments. That means if the monthly payment is $2,500 and the lender requires 6 months reserves, the flipper will need to show an average balance in his checking account of $15,000. 12 months of reserves would be $30,000. And that's after paying the down payment, points, and any other closing fees. This lender and most lenders want to make sure that you can afford to make the payments each month. He said they will verify with 3 months of bank statements, which is probably another reason why they require your entity to be at least 3 months old. They want the bank statements to match the entity. Next, he said that the loan to cost, or what I call loan to capital, is 75 to 80%. Now keep in mind, this is a loan percentage on the total cost to do the fix and flip. So for example, let's say that the purchase is $250,000 and the rehab is $50,000. The total cost or capital is $300,000, and 80% of $300,000 is $240,000. So the inexperienced flipper would need to bring the difference of $60,000 to do the deal. And finally, he said that inexperienced flippers would pay 11 to 13%, which actually isn't that bad. So what does all of this mean, and how does it apply to you? Here's the summary. If you're a fix and flipper and you have experience, you can still get really good financing with little down, at least with this lender. If you're not experienced, you can still get funding, but you're gonna need to be really strong financially to cover down payments, points, cash reserves, etc., and have good credit. If you're a wholesaler, then you can offer a really good funding source to your experienced cash buyers, and if your cash buyers lack enough experience, you better make sure they can offset experience with strong financials, or they're gonna struggle to get funding. Here's the good news with this lender. They are very relationship driven. That means doing repeat deals with them makes a big difference. Take a listen. Let's say a non-experienced, under these terms that we just reviewed, let's say that they successfully complete a transaction with you. Do you offer a better deal on deal number 2, 3, and so on?
Oh, absolutely. This is about relationship.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, I got borrowers that come in to just ask for money now because they're done with the paperwork. We know who they are.
Yeah, you've already underwritten them. You've already underwritten them.
Yeah, there's no underwriting. It's just about relationship.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. When it comes to raising capital and getting access to funding, building strong relationships is key. Lenders want to lend money to people that have proven themselves and have a track record, and they'll give you a better rate in terms once you've proven yourself. So, wholesalers, listen up. Let me give you a really valuable tip. Once you establish a relationship with a good lender in your market like this lender, see if he will pre-qualify the deal for you so that when you take the deal to your cash buyers, you can say, I have a lender for you that has already approved this deal at these numbers I'm offering you. Take a listen to how I ask this. I'm not only thinking about my deals, I do a lot of wholesales, and I want to bring my buyers funding because they don't know how to, they're hurting right now, right? So if I can say to them, hey, I got a lender, here's his criteria, here's what you need to have, here's what you need to qualify for to be a borrower. I want to understand that so I can offer you to be their funding source. See what I mean?
Right. I get you.
If I get a deal, can I bring it to you to pre-vet it? Here's my deal. I've got the contract. What I want to do is go to my buyer and say, here's the deal and here's the cut sheet on funding for it.
Yeah.
Would that be okay to do?
Of course. Shoot me an email on the borrowers and give me a scenario, purchase price, rehab, whatever it is. What I need to know about a couple of items like the borrower's FICO score,
yep.
Whatever he thinks it is, cash reserve in the bank that we can verify, his entity, and how many deals has he done in the past.
Yep, perfect.
So there's 4 things that you can get for me, then I can get you an idea, hey, this is where I think this borrower is going to stand.
Not only did he say I could bring him my deals to pre-qualify them, but he even gave me 4 things to find out from an interested buyer. And with that info, he could give me a pretty good idea of the loan criteria and terms. Basically, pre-qualify my buyer. So when you take your deal to a cash buyer, say the following. Mr. Cash Buyer, I work closely with a lender who can fund the purchase and rehab for this deal. He's already taken a look at the deal and feels good about lending on it. In fact, I'd love to have him quote for you his loan criteria and terms to fund this deal for you. All I need from you is 4 things. 1, your credit score. 2, how much verifiable cash reserves you have in the bank. 3, if your entity is at least 3 months old. And 4, how many verifiable deals you've done in the past 3 years. Now, if he shares that info, go back to your lender and get him pre-qualified. If he's uncomfortable giving you that info, you could put him in touch directly with your lender. Now, if you think that's brilliant, leave a comment and say, thank you, Jerry, for sharing your wisdom. You are a flipping genius. And again, if you'd like me to share with you this lender contact info so that you can use him in your market, go to Instagram, follow my page, and then post a screenshot of this video on your Instagram page and say, Jerry Norton is a flipping genius. Make sure to tag me and then send me an Instagram DM and I'll give you his contact info. And be sure to tell him that Jerry Norton referred you so he hooks you up. And finally, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. This is your #1 source for all things wholesaling and flipping, and I'll see you on the next video.